Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday to everyone watching. I say good afternoon to everyone. My name is Tosin Adeyemi, and I welcome you to Peculia Youth on Eyes of Africa TV. And I hope you enjoyed last week's session with Natalie Harris. And today I have brought to you a special guest. Yes, by the name Bella Rose Okojie. What we'll be discussing today is issues surrounding heartbreak in a relationship. And trust me, you're going to enjoy today's session. I want you to just, at least, I want you to call your friends, your neighbors, everyone around you, because you're going to really gain a lot from this program. So, Miss Bella Rose, it's really nice to have you on the program this afternoon.
It's so great to be here. Hi, Tosin. And thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate for the opportunity. I can't wait to just have this conversation.
All right. Thank you so much. But before we get started, I would like to ask some questions from you.
Okay.
Can you please introduce yourself? Who is Bella Rose Okojie? Briefly.
So briefly, all right, I'll try. So I'm a radio personality. I consider myself a media personality because I'm one person who absolutely loves everything that one can achieve with media. So from broadcasting to information dissemination to content creation to entertainment to acting to writing, just about everything that the media encompasses is what I absolutely love to do. And so I'm a radio personality, I'm a TV personality as well. I'm a YouTube content creator, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm also a content developer. I'm an editor as well for techcityng.com. I'm Benita Okojie Adeyemi's younger sister. Benita is a gospel musician. I'm her younger sister, and she's my claim to fame, basically. I'm a Christian. I am a worker in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, yeah, I guess I'll stop there. I'm an entrepreneur as well, in the making.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. Okay, what inspires you to do all these things? You're an actor, a voiceover artist, you're a writer, brand ambassador. What inspires you to do all this?
I mean, I think I'm one person who really believes that there's no human being that doesn't have a talent. I am so particular about the fact that every person that God has created on the face of this earth has a talent. There's something that you have been blessed to do, very easily. And so I find that while I'm one person who knows or believes that everyone has a talent, I see myself as someone who has more than one talent. I see myself as someone whom God has blessed with multiple talents. And so I feel that if I don't try as much as possible to explore all the talents that God has given to me, I don't know, that's going to, in a way, for me, it translates to not being grateful. It translates to an attitude of ingratitude, right? If there's any word like that. And so that's really what inspires me to do everything I want to do. I'm like, okay, well, I have a voice that can sell a product or a service, then I should be a voiceover artist. I will go for it. I think I have the acting gift and the acting talent. I should be an actor. I think I know how to string words together to write articles and stories that people are able to understand. Let me do some form of writing. I feel like I have a beautiful relationship with a microphone and a camera. I've got to make sure that I use that talent as a radio person, as a TV person. So that's really what inspires me. I feel like if I don't use the gifts that God has given to me, I'm being ungrateful for the talents that God has endowed me with. And that's what really inspires me every single day to do things that I do or things that you see me do. Sometimes I feel bad that I'm not using my talents to their full capacity, but I know that God also is a God of order. Sometimes you may not be using some talents at some point in time of your life because God may be saving that gift for a later period of your life, or for it to manifest at a later time in your destiny. So yeah, I try not to get too comfortable. I'm always, having that at the back of my mind, where it's like, okay, I want to do this thing, or I feel like God has given me this gift for something. What has He given it to me for? So waiting on the Lord to show clearly why He's giving me that gift is also a very pivotal part of my walk with Christ, where it's like, okay, calm down, use this one for now, don't worry, you have this gift, don't worry, it's for later. So yeah, that really is what inspires me.
Wow, that's great. From what you just said, that your source of inspiration, everyone has a gift, everyone has a talent,
Yep.
and the one that God really wants you to use now, and the one that there's another that God wants you to save, to keep for later. That's great. Thank you so very much. Okay, now I wouldn't want us
Thank
to
you.
waste much time. I would have loved to ask more questions from you, but we have a limited time here. So, okay, back to today's topic: issues surrounding heartbreak in a relationship. Issues surrounding heartbreak in a relationship. I can imagine what breaking up with someone you love can be one
Mhm.
of the most difficult experiences you ever had. Whether you are breaking up with your partner or your partner is breaking up with you, can be so traumatic at times. So, how do you deal with this breakup and move on? There are some people that after experiencing this breakup, it affects them psychologically. They don't be able to think straight. Some people struggle with it for years and months. In fact, if not for the grace of God, some people just pass out. Yes,
Yeah.
dealing with heartbreak. So how? Okay, let's start like this. What is heartbreak in a relationship? What does it mean to have heartbreak in a relationship?
So I guess the basic meaning, I believe, of a heartbreak in a relationship would be when someone chooses to not continue in that relationship with you, when they are cutting that bond that they shared with you romantically, intimately, etc. That's when you can say your heart has been broken. Because, of course, two people who are in a relationship are people who, in a way, have given each other the giving them exclusivity over their hearts, right? So it's like, I'm going to take care of you because I love you. And of course, anyone who is going to be in a relationship has got to be in that relationship because they share and show affection, right, with the person that they're in that relationship with. And affection is something that happens in the heart, right? And so if there is something that's going to alter the that affection, that is what we can refer to as heartbreak. If there is something that's going to interfere, that affection that you share, interfere with the affection you share with that person, you can then refer to it as heartbreak. Because I mean, it's expected that if you're in love with somebody, you stay in love with them. But in the event that one person wants to pull away and say they're not continuing anymore, the other party is heartbroken. So I think that's how I'm going to define heartbreak. But with regards to, so I'm trying to just follow up with the initial question that you asked, which is,
Okay.
perhaps how to deal with that. Not to sound so spiritual, but there's one thing that has really been a guide for me. And I had shared this on my Instagram page yesterday as well, where I'm like, I have a very interesting perspective about heartbreaking relationships. And as a Christian, I am one who believes very, very strongly in when you give your life to Jesus Christ, you literally hand over your heart, your being, everything to Him. My pastor, Pastor Victor Akinsunde, would sometimes say, when he wants to make an altar call, he would say, if you want to rededicate your life to Jesus Christ, because you gave it to Him before, you took it back. So that happens for some people, that's, when people maybe commit sin, etc. It can be translated to giving your heart to Jesus and taking it back. But I'm actually one person who believes that because I have come to a point where I have surrendered my heart and my life to Jesus Christ, saying that a human being has broken my heart because I was in a relationship with that person. Oh dear, what happened to Tosin? Tosin has, I think, okay, I hope she joins us back immediately. I don't want to continue if she's not here because she's my host. I'm the guest. So we'll just wait for Tosin to get back. All right. Okay, I should go ahead. All right. So, saying that a person, a man or a woman, because I'm sure that there are people of different genders who are watching this, saying that somebody broke my heart, I think is giving them way too much power. That's Bella Rose. Can I feel bad that somebody actually chose not to continue in that relationship with me? Oh, definitely. But to say they broke my heart, nah, you're not powerful enough. You're not strong enough to break my heart. And I'm not saying this because I'm some tough cookie or anything like that. It's just I don't think that anyone has the strength or the power to be able to break my heart to the point where I'm devastated, etc. I really don't think so. And so I think that this makes me want to see the issue of um, relationship breakups in a different perspective or in a different way, where it's like, oh yeah, people actually break up and they go their separate ways, and one person gets over it, the other person has a harder time getting over it. But it's not because this person has broken my heart. It's just because we got to a point where one person wasn't feeling the relationship anymore, and yeah, we were not able to make it work, and that is literally where it ends. And so when you start seeing relationships, when you start seeing your heart as something that a man or a woman does not have that much power and that much control over, it helps us to see relationships even differently, where you don't base your importance or your happiness or your joy on being in a relationship with a person, right? But in making sure that you are in right standing with Christ. That when you start seeing your heart, your um just your being, in a different light, it's also going to make it easier for you to get over a breakup, right, in a relationship, because like, well, I get it, but I don't know, I feel bad about the fact that we're not able to make things work. But you didn't break my heart, because my heart is, number one, my heart is unbreakable. Number two, you don't have the power to break my heart. So it's easier for me to move on. It's easier for me to get over the breakup that we have perhaps agreed on as a pair or as a couple. Tosi, are you back? Okay, waiting on her to come back. All right, thank you.
I want to now when we talk about issues surrounding heartbreak, a lot of things that to it. We need to discuss the causes, the the solutions of heartbreak. So because so many people find it hard to do well in a relationship. So many
Okay, I see that questions are coming in already. That's great. Keep your questions coming. I'm sure that Tosi has a list of questions that she wants to ask. So it'd be nice for us to, take the host's questions first before we then come to the comments that are dropped on YouTube and everywhere else. All right. So yeah, keep them coming, and I'm sure that when it's time, Tosi will let us know. All right, she's back. Awesome.
okay, I'm so sorry about that. The
That's
network is really
that's fine.
funny here. So all right. I said talking about issues surrounding heartbreak in relationship, there are a lot of things attached to it. The causes, the solutions, yeah, because so many people find it hard to to get a stable relationship. They feel heartbroken almost every time, and they feel like, do I have a problem? Where is the problem really coming from? So, what are the causes of this heartbreak? What really causes heartbreak in a relationship? Because we really
I
need to
think that
tackle this issue of heartbreak.
yeah, I think like for some people, um, when you're not aligned with someone, right? When you're not properly aligned with someone, you can you can experience heartbreak, right? I'm careful with the word. You can experience issues like that. And the truth is, if there's something that I have also come to learn, is the fact that people are sometimes in relationships and they are already heartbroken. You are in a relationship with somebody, you are in an active relationship with somebody, they call you their significant other, they have maybe said, oh yeah, I want to get married to you, etc. But one party sometimes can still be heartbroken even in that relationship. And that's because sometimes they are not satisfied. They are perhaps not, they are not happy in that place. The things that they want for that person who is supposedly in a relationship with them, the things they want that person to do, the person is not doing. That person may be talking to them disrespectfully. That person may not have time for them. That person may be making them just outright sad. But you are in a relationship with that person, oh, right? You are actually in a relationship with that person, but emotionally, they are not present for you at all. They're not present. And so that's when you start feeling like you start feeling like your chest is getting tight, or like your heart is getting very heavy. That's because the happiness that you're supposed to feel in a relationship, you're not feeling that happiness. So already, before even choosing to officially say, okay, I don't think we're working anymore, let's go our separate ways. Even in the relationship, you are already feeling so heartbroken because the things that you expected to enjoy in that relationship, you're not enjoying those things. And so for me, and this is a very personal thing, this is not some kind of rule book, right, for anyone to follow by all means. This is just how I deal with stuff. When I get to a point where I know that my happiness is not at its full capacity in this relationship, then I begin to reconsider things. I begin to reevaluate. Does this relationship really exist? Am I actually aligned with this person, or am I just living a lie? Am I heartbroken, but am I just trying to use sellotape to hold this relationship together, to hold my heart together in this relationship? And I think that you have to come to a point where you are honest with yourself. You've got to be honest with yourself and not base the importance of your life on being in a relationship. I think that's important because sometimes when we idolize in a relationship, we get into the wrong relationships, and that is what, of course, then leads to heartbreak. Because maybe the person does not even, believe the same things that you believe. You believe in Jesus Christ. The person does not. You are a family-oriented person. This person has not spoken to their family members in years or in months. They don't even care when last they spoke to their mom or their dad or their siblings. This person believes that you need to um keep the marriage bed holy and undefiled, right? Or maybe you believe that no one should have premarital sex, but the person believes that there's nothing wrong with it, and then they start making demands that you obviously cannot fulfill. Already you are living in heartbreak because you will get to a point where you are certain demands that you're not supposed to, fulfill, and they will just say, "Oh, I'm stepping back because you can't do what I want." So I think that because people are not aligned, that can lead to heartbreak. Because sometimes the signs, people say things like, the signs are always there. If this man will not respect you, if this woman will not respect you, it's only a matter of time before you show. They cannot talk to you properly. They are not able to communicate with you. So for instance, now, if for instance I'm one person who likes to um talk to the person I'm in a relationship with. And that's like absolutely not, just keep me in the loop about how your day is going. How's your day going? Are you sending me a text message? Are you calling me? And then the person that you're in a relationship with, for some weird reason, is just not calling. This person is just not texting you. They ghost on you. They just disappear for maybe the whole day. And they know that this is something that you don't like. That person is already breaking your heart by behaving that way. And then maybe when you now complain and tell them, I don't like when you just disappear and you don't call me, or you don't text me, or you just don't even let me know what's going on. And then I feel bad about it. And I'm telling you, right now, asking you now, are you just in a relationship? We are putting you under unnecessary pressure. It's only a matter of time. What that person will say, well, I'm not doing again. Please let me move. There are some women or some men who actually don't say anything. They don't like to be inundated with messages or phone calls. That's who they are. They don't have a problem with you being away for hours, and then at the end of the day, maybe in the evening, you now come and say, "Oh, how was your day?" They're okay with it. But there's some other people who they can't survive that way. They can't survive that way. So if you're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't feel like, oh, they need to let you know how their day is going, keeping you in the loop and all of those things, it's only a matter of time before it will now come to heartbreak. Because they will tell you that your wahala is too much. But if it's somebody else who doesn't see any big deal with it, they are aligned. They are absolutely fine. You know what I mean? Or somebody who, for instance, is a workaholic, right? Who may not be able to have time to check up on you, etc. If you and that person are not aligned to a point where you're like, okay, I understand that this is what keeps you busy and whatnot, you know, you will not have a problem. So if you're not aligned, if you're not communicating well enough, if you guys don't believe in the same things, if you don't have similar beliefs and value systems, there is absolutely no way you're not going to get heartbroken in the mix. Also, I got to address this issue of tribalism. Tribalism is a major issue that leads to heartbreak, maybe particularly in Nigeria. People get into relationships with people that maybe they personally have biases about, whose tribes they have biases about. Okay, I'm a Yoruba person and I don't like Igbo people or Edo people.
Igbo.
But then you now go into a relationship with an Igbo woman, and you know yourself that you don't like Igbo women. But for whatever reason, you see this person, you like her, and then you haven't gotten over that bias that you have. You haven't gotten over that bias that you have. There is no way you will not break that girl's heart in the long run. Or you know that your parents will not agree for you to date or get married to a Hausa woman. You now go and put your head and say you want to ask a Hausa woman out, and you've not perhaps gotten to a point in your life where you are fully responsible for yourself and you can tell your parents, look, I am marrying an Hausa woman and that's the end of it, and they will accept. If you have not gotten to that level, can you not stress that Hausa woman? Can you not get into a relationship with her and then break as a result? Because it's like why? Yeah. Why are you doing this? You know it's not going to work out eventually. So why start that at all?
Right? You go into it, yeah.
Don't stress. Even the issue of spirituality and religion, if you know that you are going to have issues with somebody who is not of the same religion with you, don't bother. Don't stress it. Maybe you are a little who like men who drink, and then the guy that's asking you out, he drinks. You know, you may not be able to handle it. And then maybe he now really is in love with you, and then you're like, see, I can't deal. And then he's refusing to maybe stop drinking and all of those things. Don't stress yourself. Don't stress yourself. Like, love is beautiful, but it is actually blissful when it is with the right person and with the person whom you know share similar values, belief systems, and just the same values really with. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, getting into the wrong relationship leads to heartbreak. Okay, I have a lot of questions here. I have some questions here, but before I ask those questions, yeah. So many people, when they go into a relationship, we know that, okay, going into a relationship is a time of getting to know each other well. Definitely, issues will definitely come up. Issues for the fact that you both of you are not coming from the same background. So definitely you have issues. You are coming from a different home. The other person is coming from a different background. The teachings, the morals, everything you learned are differently. So definitely there will be issues, but not all issues should lead to heartbreak. There are some issues that need to be sorted out in relationship. So some partners, they don't have this enduring spirit. They don't know how to endure. So they believe there's any slight misunderstanding. Oh, I'm no more interested. I'm no more interested. And you feel like, just this little thing. So they'll just feel like, okay, in order to have a broken relationship and a broken marriage, that would be the thing. But there are some things that will definitely go on during the relationship that doesn't necessarily need to lead to heartbreak. There are some things that can be sorted out amicably. So now you talked about tribalism. Yes, I know that for sure. Your parents are already telling you that don't bring Igbo lady, don't bring Edo girl. You already heard that. So you now saw this Edo fine girl. This girl cannot just go like that. You now started the relationship. You started like 2 years. Maybe your parents are not even aware that you're into a relationship. You already know that your parents will never support any relationship with Edo or Yoruba or Igbo girl. So that means you're not supposed to even start. You're not supposed to even go there. If the lady is coming, just cover your face. You don't even need to. Yes. So these are the issues. These are the causes of this heartbreak. You already know. Now, some people again, some people will go into a relationship for different reasons. You know, so many people go into relationships for different reasons. So maybe, okay, maybe the guy is rich, is handsome, is this, is that, and relationship, which leads to marriage, goes beyond all these things. It is deeper. It is deeper. So we really need to understand the relationship we want to start before we even go into it at all. Because, okay, let me take for instance, I know a case of a lady who started a relationship with a guy. He didn't pray about this one is about this, okay, let me say spiritual aspects now. She didn't pray about it though. They started the relationship like 2-3 years. They were fine. The relationship was smooth. After 3 years, she said, God spoke to her that this relationship is not for God. I just need to quit. And the relationship, they are doing fine. There's no misunderstanding, nothing of sort. So, and how will this girl now make the news to the guy that while I was praying, I heard the voice of God that this relationship will not work. So how are we going to handle that? How are we going to even treat that? Because that one is a big blow. Because
so I think that
there are no. Okay.
Finish your statement. There are no what. So I think that it's important for.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you finish. You finish.
Okay. I said this kind of thing is a big blow because when the lady broke the news to the guy, he almost fainted at that spot. The guy almost fainted because he was so serious with the relationship. No other lady, nobody. Everybody already knows this girl and this guy that it's to marry. This relationship leads to the altar straight. But now, in fact, before the guy could recover from this heartbreak, it took a very long time. Years. So we really need to be very careful even before going into it.
I'll share something experience that somebody shared with me a few years ago. There were two people who were in a relationship. They were both in a relationship that was headed for marriage, and I'm going to touch on that for a few minutes. But let me finish with this story first. And one of the lady, you could tell that they really liked each other. They really liked each other. And so one day the woman came and said the Lord spoke to her that man was not her husband. So it was confusing. It's like, I think they had even almost started doing counseling classes and all of those things. And it's like, how do you just wake up one morning and say, God said, God said, God said? But one thing that was established was, I think the pastor had asked her, how sure are you that it was God who was speaking to you? And she said, on other issues, God has spoken to me. I recognize the voice of God. Right? So I think that is one thing we need to address. When people say God spoke to me about X, Y, or Z, I find that sometimes people are a bit like, now so just say you want to break up and let's hear what. Don't say God said. But the truth is there are people who actually hear from God about issues. God speaks to them concerning or pertaining to actual issues. So, and if the person is lying, it's between the person and God, to be honest. So, like, I don't even think we should debate if lying. But let's not say, okay, it is indeed God speaking to this person. Let us appreciate the fact that this person is following the voice of God. Because see, I'm half Yoruba and half Edo. My mom would say, I don't know how she says it in Yoruba, but they say you need to be more afraid of the person who sent you a message than the person who you are going to deliver the message to. So if be grateful that this person is obeying God over a man or a woman. If God has said this is X, Y, or Z, you should be more concerned about following God's instruction than breaking somebody's heart. Because you know why? The God that made that man or that woman that you're going to break up with, because he has said he or she is not his purpose for your life, he will take care of their heart. They will be fine. He will settle them. So back to this story I was sharing with you. So the lady says, God said, and then everybody in church was confused, like, how you say, like, you already, everybody knows you guys and all of those things. Turns out anyway that she broke up with the guy. She meets another person, and as God will have it, that same guy, in God's sheer providence, some lady came back from the UK, and for some weird reason, the Lord just said, "Oh, it's like that's the person that He has created. He's made for you." And He goes to her, talks to her. Turns out she was interested, and they got married. Like the guy he felt so bad initially. But imagine if he had now started wallowing in, "Yay, she has broken my heart. My own is done for. There's no hope for me anymore." What is the possibility that he would have also heard from God about that lady who came into the country, and he, went, approached her, and then she ended up being, the woman for him? So I think that I quite get it. It's not an easy place to be when somebody comes and says, "Oh, I really don't think that we are meant to be for each other." Particularly, they say, "Oh, God said," but it's more important that that person is obeying the word of God. Sometimes I was having a chat with a friend of mine a while ago, and I said, look at people who maybe you have dated in the past, who you either broke up with or who broke up with you, but who are now happily married. They are now happily married to other people. Do you think that if you guys had forced that relationship upon each other, do you think you'd have been this happy? Would that person have even been this happy with who they are married to right now? So while it may seem like, oh well, people have invested a lot, I am also one person who actually believes that it's better for you to break a relationship that maybe even a relationship that has led to engagements, than for you to now get married and then you want to step back out, because God does not take lightly the concept of marriage. He does. It's better. You need to be sure that no, I'm this person. I don't know how possible this thing is. So let me step back while I can before I exchange vows with this person, and then I might not start having issues holding on to those vows when we are now married. That said, I also think that, and this is something that became clearer to me as I got older. We young people tend to sometimes we date, and then we try to figure out what we want to do while we're dating. And it's a sermon that I know pastors have preached endlessly. Don't date for the fun of it. If you're going to say you are trying to get someone, you're trying to get to figure out if this person is a potential husband or wife material, it does not necessarily mean you have to be exclusive to each other. And I say this very carefully and with every sense of understanding and discretion. When you are talking to someone, when you're getting to know that person, you're asking them, okay, what kind of family are you from? What do you do for a living? What are your ideas on the Holy Spirit? What are your thoughts on child, how to bring up a child, etc. It does not necessarily mean that you have to now say, oh, I'm exclusive to this person and this person alone, especially if you are just still trying to figure out what your own ideas about marriage are. And that's why I say this very, very carefully. Sometimes people choose to be exclusive. People choose to say, oh, this is my boyfriend or my girlfriend because of certain things that they want to enjoy as single people before they become married. It's like, oh, well, I cannot necessarily hug, a girl or a guy that's not my boyfriend. I cannot, what's that word? I cannot smoosh this person, except I know that, okay, maybe we are kind of sort of going in the direction of marriage. So the reason why sometimes we choose to be exclusive to certain people is because we want to enjoy some of the perks of relationships. And in a way, that may lead to sin. So it's okay for you to say, okay, I'm talking to this person, I'm trying to figure out where this person is in life, and I'm talking to some other person who seems like, yeah, there may be a good idea, and not necessarily be in a relationship with anybody. That, of course, means that there are a lot of things that you will not be doing with those people or with that person. Because guess what? I have not come to a point where I have said, oh, yeah, I definitely want to get married to this person. So until you get to that point, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and otherwise, we need to be careful about trying to enjoy certain perks that we're meant to enjoy in marriage. We need to be careful about wanting to enjoy them in boyfriend girlfriend relationships, and that's why people say sometimes that, look, boyfriend and girlfriend is a joke. You're joking. If you meet somebody, don't say, oh, I'm now in a relationship with this person, this is now my boyfriend, when you're not even sure where you are in life. Right? If you have come to a point where you are very, very certain that, oh, this person is the person I want to spend the rest of
Certain.
my life with, don't give that person exclusivity.
My life with.
And
Yeah.
the earlier you understand that, the better. I did not understand that early enough in life, but better late than never, right?
Mm.
So anyway, to your question about certain issues being resolved, not necessarily leading to heartbreak, that's where this comes in. Because there are some issues that you know that, well, it's like I'm going to marry
Yeah.
this person. So
I have some
if
questions. I have some.
be
Yeah.
if there's going to be some kind of issue that we have, or some kind of debate that we are trying to sort out as just two people who are getting to know each other, then if that thing is a deal breaker, I know that if that issue is an issue, then me and this person are not meant to be together. Especially based on whatever my values and my beliefs and all of those things are. Tosin, are you there? Tosin has got to give us the go ahead to take questions. All right, guys. But thank you so much for watching. Hi, Mark, David. I saw Banke a few minutes ago as well. Thank you guys for watching, and please share the link to everyone who means something to you, or who may be heartbroken, or going through um, that experience right now. So I need to know, admin, is it okay to take questions? Because a few of them are coming. This one's from YouTube. So just to reiterate, right? I think that nobody is strong enough to break your heart. Okay, your heart is in God's hands. They don't have the power. They're not that powerful. Okay, all right. So this one says, how do you keep strong when you are heartbroken? This will take us back to my opening statement, right? When you see yourself as God's property, right? You're going to see that no person is strong enough to break your heart. No person is strong enough to. They can make you feel bad. They can hurt you. People can hurt you, but they cannot break your heart. It's a painful thing, and that's why sometimes when you feel hurt, your chest will feel tight. I need to know if there are people who can relate with that. When you feel like there's a tightness in your chest because of what somebody has done to you, or what they have chosen not to do, right? Maybe in this case when they say, well, I'm not interested in living with you anymore. Um, so I mean, yeah, you have to be strong,
Okay.
both figuratively and literally, right? Be strong in the sense that you need to realize that nobody is strong enough to break your heart. And then you also have to be hopeful, trust in a better tomorrow, whatever that means to you, right? So we all have ambitions, we have dreams. I dream of driving planes. I dream of having a garden. I dream of enjoying certain luxuries. And so every day that I wake up, I put that dream in my head somewhere, and I'm saying, this is a dream that I know will come to pass one day. And I think the exact same thing should apply to anyone um who has been heartbroken at any point in time. See it as something that happened in the past, and look forward to a beautiful tomorrow. Look forward to getting married to an amazing woman and an amazing man who will love you the way you actually want to be loved. Mark David says, I have been heartbroken and I almost lost my life. It took me time to get over it. Is it that I am weak, or why did it take me so long to get over it? Like I said, sometimes because we feel so disappointed, both in ourselves and the amount of time that we have spent in that relationship, right? Or whatever you have invested, whether it's money, time, maybe it took you like 3 or 4 or 5 years to stay in that relationship, and then the person wakes up one morning and says they're not doing anymore. You feel like, no, where do I start from? I will say over and over again, pick yourself up. Pick yourself up. There is something more beautiful that is ahead of you. There is a woman that God has created for you that, when you meet her and you
Exactly.
marry her, you will be so grateful to God that that person broke your
To
heart.
God, yeah.
You'll be so happy. I was watching a lady sent me a message and said, she was 30 or she was going on 30 and she didn't have a relationship. Her parents were beginning to pressurize her and she was feeling very sad. She was 29 or something. And that, she felt like she'd be married at 30 and all of those things. And I told her about a lady I follow on YouTube, right? This lady got married at 32. She got married at 32. Um, and even she herself said when she wasn't married at 30, she felt like a failure. Like, like, how is it that I'm not married at this age? And I told her, this lady that I'm talking about, she got married at 32. She has 2 kids now. She's now 42 and she's living her best life. When I tell you she's living her best life, I mean it. She's so happy and so she's a black woman. She's married to a white man and she is so incredibly happy. You can see she's looking 42. She looks like she's 30 and she's 42. She celebrated her 42nd birthday sometime last month or so, and she does not look older than 30 because she's so happy. Her husband loves her so much and she's so successful. So imagine if she wallowed in that place of self-doubt, of just self-pity, etc., and did not enjoy God's plan for her, and then she was able to meet this great man who is now her husband, who she's living really happy with. So don't dwell. The thing with sadness, right, and heartbreak, I think, is sometimes it takes your joy, and it is a bad thing. That joy that it takes from you makes you look older. It makes you look like a sad person. It makes you. It also just repels you sometimes to people who are supposed to find you attractive. So don't hold on to that. And sometimes when you're not able to get over certain people, right? It is hard for you to move on. If you've not gotten over that relationship that you got out of, how can you meet somebody new? Do you get? Like, so let it go. Let it go. It doesn't mean it did not pain you. It doesn't mean it didn't hurt. It didn't make you feel bad. Right? But just let it go. Holding on to it is of no use. It does not benefit you anything, I tell you. And that's why I guess one thing that helps me stay that just helps me stay what's the word I'm looking for? That just keeps me grounded is when I say things like a girl has no ex. And I think, men, you can also take that, you can apply that to your own life. See, if we had a relationship before and we broke up, whether it was me that broke up with you or it was you who broke up with me, see, all that is in the past though. We didn't happen. No, we did not happen. Did you get married to me? No. So we didn't happen. Bye. We did not happen. All things are passed away. Hello. Behold, all things have become new. Like, don't let anybody guide it. Mark, that's the point. Don't let anybody feel like they are powerful enough to break your heart and keep you in that state of heartbreak or depression. It is a dirty, ugly thing. And it can repel the person who is supposed to find you attractive when you are constantly, just constantly sad. No, please. No, let's not do that. Okay, let's not do that. Someone had asked about when somebody breaks your heart, do you move on? Yes. Yes, please move on. Move on. See, there are certain things that make you realize that getting out of a relationship or being heartbroken was the best thing to have happened to you. When you come out and then you start imagining to yourself, how was it that I was able to take some of the crap that this person was giving to me? How was I able to accept less than God's standard for my life? You know how sometimes a lady can talk to you disrespectfully or a man can talk to you anyhow and you accept it because what, you're in love with them? No, please. We're not about that life. We're not about that life. No. We're not. I'm happy about that, Mark David. Like, no. You come out and then you see who God has made you. You are a royal priesthood now. You are royalty. You are a king in your own right. You are a queen. You are made for so much more. So don't let anybody make you feel less than who God has made you to be. Like, don't. So when you get out of a relationship that maybe was toxic, and then you think to yourself, how was I able to deal with all of that? You need to be thankful to God that you got out of that. Right? Be thankful to God that you got out of that. And I'm also one person who believes that, especially if you are a genuine child of God, if you're a genuine child of God, you're someone who really loves God and just aims to please God. Um, Even if you liked someone and they broke up with you for whatever reason, you need to be thankful still. Because why? The God that you love and that you serve has better plans for you. So it may not make sense to you. It may not make any sense to you. You may feel like, well, like I did everything right in that relationship now. How come things didn't still work out? You need to remind yourself that God has a plan for you, and He says His thoughts towards you are thoughts of good and not evil. So let me tell you, no matter what anybody you are dating with, no matter what their intentions can never be as good as God's intentions for you. It's not possible. It's also has taken me a while to realize that. But see, no matter how much they say they love you, their intentions, they cannot be as good as God's intentions. It's not possible. It is not possible. This God that created you, that sent His Son to die for you, they will now come and be forming as if, oh, I love you more than God loves you. Please take your love and get use the door. You cannot love me more than God loves me. Your intentions can never be as good as God's intentions for me. So if God's intention is for me to not continue with this relationship, then I'll take it. Because again, His intentions are good, His plans are good, His thoughts are good, and it's to give me a hope and a future. It's like, ugh, it's all coming together. Like, at the end of the day, I will meet a woman, I will meet a man, right, who is going to love me the way God wants me to be loved, because that is His plan for me. So don't wallow in self-pity, don't wallow in depression, or just, how sometimes we love to stay in that place of sunkenness. No, please don't stay there. Get out of there, and just, take on God's actual plan for your life. All right. So yeah, any more questions? Someone had asked about how to avoid heartbreak. Um, this takes me back to, again, something I said when we started, and that's with regards to, continuing in a relationship with someone whose values, etc. Yeah, avoid being heartbroken. If you are in a situation or in a relationship with somebody whose values are not aligned with yours, then you're going to break up with that person, or that person is going to break up with you. So it's something, it's an impending danger. It's going to happen whether we like it or not, right? So you don't like somebody who parties, you don't like somebody who drinks, and this person that you're getting to know, or you're getting to like, parties, drinks, does all these weird things. You are actually setting yourself up for heartbreak, right? Especially if that person has not gotten to a point where they feel like they need to change first for themselves, right? Maybe are you inspiring that change? They don't get to a point where they are doing this because they genuinely want to do it and not because they want to just please you. It is something that it is bound to happen. It is an impending danger. That heartbreak is in front. You are going to meet it. So to avoid it, just don't get into that situation at all. So it's about your values aligning. If they don't align, if maybe this person talks to you rudely the first time, maybe you try to explain to them and they become a bit defensive, that's a red flag. If they don't see that they have done something wrong and they should apologize for it, it is something that's going to repeat itself in future. This person hits you once and then tells you, "Oh, and you're in a relationship with them or whatever, and they say, I've never done it before. I'm sorry. And they maybe raise their voices at you, or they try to do it a second time. It's in front. In front, they will still beat you. So just don't even stress yourself. When you see those red flags, just step away. If you don't step away from those red flags that are maybe generic red flags, or red flags that are red flags to you as an individual, right? Um, if you don't step away from them, you are definitely going to be heartbroken in future. So to avoid them, step away. If your A is not his A, or your B is not her B, step away. So yeah. Tosin is back. Awesome. Hey Banker, this alignment thing is such a big deal. Bella. I know. It is. It is. I am speaking from experience, to be honest. I'm speaking from experience. You know, sometimes you have your standards, and because you maybe like someone, you let those standards drop. And I'm not saying, oh, you've got to be this high and mighty person who's on this high horse that they're not willing to get down from. That's not what I'm saying. There are certain things that are just important to you as a person, as an individual. These things are important to you. Don't now say because you're getting to like somebody and then that person is obviously not matching up to that standard, you should now bring down your standard because of that person. It's an effort in futility. It's an effort in futility. So don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. If you if you um if you are a family oriented person, right? You know how important. I'm a very family oriented person. I know how important my family members are to me, and then this person maybe doesn't in any way doesn't exactly um if that person doesn't necessarily you know apply the amount of importance or the extent to which I take my family to theirs, then we're going to have a problem, so let's just not bother. Let's not bother, really.
All right.
Or somebody's
Thank
not
you. Thank
kind,
you. Thank
or
you. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you
kindness. If somebody's
so
kind,
much for your time.
they don't listen. They don't listen to. They don't see your opinions as valid. And then because they sometimes say things like, no, that's not important, you find that you're beginning to keep quiet often. You're not expressive. You're not the naturally expressive person that you are because of this person who shuts you up, who doesn't want to listen to you. There's going to be a problem. So yeah, just pay attention to these things.
All right. Bella,
Yes, to sing.
thank you so much. In fact,
Thank you.
um, it's so pity that my network is so
I
sorrow.
know,
But
I
thank
know,
God,
I know.
thank God. I'm really, really blessed. And I believe that everyone watching, they've been blessed. Yeah, I am blessed. In fact, I really want to thank you for your time. Thank you
Thank,
so much for everything. Thank you for today.
thank,
I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So
thank
I
you for
believe we all have learned something. We now know the causes, the solutions, how we can move on. And I pray that God will help every one of us in our relationships and help us
Amen.
to apply the right rules that will guide us through the relationship. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for watching.
Thank you.
Join us same time next week Sunday for another interesting time on Peculiar Youth. Thank you, Bella. God bless you.
Thank
God
you.
bless
Thank
you.
you. Christine. And thanks to everyone who
Real,
joined in.
real good.
Thank
Thank you.
you.